Hello and welcome or welcome back. If you are new and we have not met, my name is Kate and this is my place. In my place, we do a little bit of planning, cash budgeting, cash stuffing, paying down debt, and so much more as we are building our best lives. In today's video, we are going to be closing out the 5th and final week of July for our budget and getting ready to start a fresh new month. So if that sounds interesting to you, make yourself comfortable and let's get into the video. So like I said in my intro, we're going to jump right in and do a review of what we spent for the 5th week of July. We're going to start out with what we spent for cash out of our cash wallet. So the first thing we did is we took the money out of the bank and kind of deposited the cash into the wallet. 140 of that went into our sinking funds. And then I had a miscellaneous purchase at Speedway for $9. Grocery shopping at Trader Joe's for $32. A Walmart grocery haul for $68. I pulled $3 out of our medical envelope to pay for parking at a medical appointment. And then pulled the $25 for my copay. My boyfriend took money out for golfing. And then we had a $5 tip that got added into the wallet. Golf ended up costing $40, so we then put 20 of that back into his envelope. We had to have some work done on the TLX, so we pulled $200 in cash out of our car care envelope, which that's how much we spent of the cash, and there's where we pulled it. And then going back to the bank to cover purchases out of our bank account, $8 for a beauty product, an additional $27 to cover the remainder of the car repair that had to be done, $50 for household supplies, and then another $17 for household supplies. We had to get salt for our water softener, so I pulled $20 out to pay in cash for that. And then my kiddo got his haircut for the beginning of the school year. Beauchamp's is where we got our salt, so that was $17. My kiddo's haircut ended up being $25. And then we put $18 back into the envelope from the salt purchase and the leftover money from my son's haircut. And then my boyfriend decided to go golfing again, so pulled $60 just so they'd have enough. He ended up spending $34, and so we were able to put money back into his envelope. $102, which is this right here, is going back into the bank to be deposited to cover the expenses out of the bank. And then here's where I put the $26 back into the golf envelope. So we should have a remainder of $11 in our cash wallet. So let's see if that is accurate. So we have no money left over for groceries. In miscellaneous, we have $6. So this will go towards our $1 and $5 savings. And then there should not be anything else in the envelopes. And then we have our $5 tip. That'll go into our challenge. Our receipts for the week will get scanned into Receipt Hog and Fetch. Let's see if we have any change to put in our change cup, which we do. So that will go into the change cup. Now our envelope is ready for when we do our cash stuffing for the first week of August. And the change is taken care of by my boyfriend. I let him put the change in the automatic feeder. So left over in our wallet, we did have $5, $10, and $11. And like I said, this will go into our $5 and $1 savings challenge. All right, so now we are going to see how we did in the bank. So for week 5, we did have a salary come in of $1460.07. We bought some Subway for $27.95. Sunbit came out for $57.05. Sunbit is for an auto repair that we had to have done, and it is our 5th payment of 6. So we have one more payment left to get that paid off. I took my boys for breakfast on our way to a medical appointment, so they wanted Taco Bell, so that was $23.27. Our consumer's bill came out as scheduled for $53. Our auto insurance was paid for $480.64. I paid $25 towards the Sam's card so that we could get that paid down. And then here is the additional $26.78 for the car care. We had to pick up a beauty product at Target for $7.41. And then our 4 pays came out at $22.66, $15.85, $13.69, $11.13, $13.82, $23.06, $20.49, $22.53, $14.84, $13.97, $17.49, $31.15, $20.02, $7.75, $10.60, $15.07, and then we had a credit card payment of $30, and then $54.23. My son's phone payment came out of $35, and so did mine for $35. Our Netflix for $22.99 came out, and Hulu for $14.99. And then I transferred the $27 out of our savings account to cover the $26.78 for the remainder of the auto repair. And then it may sound confusing, but I had $27 in our cash envelope here at home, and I want to make sure that we have $600 in the savings account. So I'm going to be putting the $27 back into the savings account so that what we have in the savings account is the $600, and the other, whatever is left, is in our cash envelope. I hope that's not confusing. I transferred my boyfriend's spending of $30. We had pizza night for $27.54. Our first roundup change to savings went in for $3.53. And then I had another Speedway purchase for $2.50. I got gas for $58.31. This is where I pulled out the remaining money needed for our cash stuffing for the week 5 of July. We had another change to savings for $1.19, a grocery purchase for $27.24, McDonald's for $4.96, Klarna payment, which is another 4-pay payment that ended up coming out for $14.83. A household supply purchase from Amazon for $39.80. Dollar General grocery purchase for $5.35. Our dash income was $2.98, $298.74 that went into the bank, and then $5 of the cash that we're going to be putting into the savings envelopes got us to the $303 for our dash income for the week. And then we had another change to savings for $9.83. And then I picked up some Mexican for myself and my boyfriend after I dashed last Saturday. And it was in total close to $30. But it originally was $25.43, but I had requested extra chips and salsa, so they increased it by $4.23. And then we had another change to savings for $1.34. I had to pay for parking for work one day this week for $11.15. And then we had another gas purchase for $62.25. We had to get more printer ink for $17.91, and that is a payment. We'll have another 3 payments for that. I transferred $11.15 to cover my parking from our cushion that's in savings, so that it wasn't coming out of any of the other funds that we had in the account. And then here's where I'm depositing $102 to cover the other expenses in the bank that needed to come out of our cash envelopes. We had a dentist payment of $68.90, another change to savings for $1.69. Our June interest came into the bank at $4.79, and that got moved into our savings account. And then we had a grocery purchase at Kroger for $10.78. So with that, we are now going to do our best to close out the June budget, the last week of June. So everybody, I feel, has different parts of a budget that really bother them and that they just can't get right. Closing out a budget is my Achilles heel or Achilles tendon. It's still early in the morning, so I struggle to get the numbers right. But thankfully, because my bank account and what's in my cash wallet match what is on my trackers and where my money is on my trackers, I know with full confidence that we did not go over what we brought in. As you saw on the tracker for my bank, we have $872.42 rolling over into August. $760 of that is going to be going towards our August rent payment, and the remainder is going to be going towards a Sam's payment to go towards the Sam's purchase. So that money has a place, but for some odd reason, when I put the numbers in my budget, I can never get it to equal out. I'm going to get it. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep trying, but I get really frustrated and want to just say the heck with it. But then I have to look in the mirror and tell myself, no, go on, do your recording, be transparent, and let other people know that you don't have to be perfect. This isn't about perfection. It's about continuing to take the steps towards the goals you're trying to meet. So we're going to do our best to get through this. I have pre-prepped, and this is the 4th time I do like a pre-prep where I write it all out, and this is the 4th time I did that. And each time I did it, the numbers were different, and I could not figure out where I was going wrong. So I finally said the heck with it. I'm not doing it again. We'll try again next time. So we're gonna do our best to get this filled in accurately. I'm gonna zoom you in a little bit, and I'm hoping that as I write, it's not gonna blur. So for salary, we did get the $1460.07. Oh, I hate writing on this surface of this desk. You can feel the fake wood grain. For Dash, so if you watched my cash stuffing for week 5, I decided Saturday, after pushing myself out the door, that I was going to do a solo dash, which I have not done in a couple years. So originally, because my boyfriend had a work outing on Saturday, we were only going to be able to do 150 for our side hustle / door dashing this week. But I decided that I was gonna, because I didn't have anything to do on Saturday, I didn't have plans. So I went out and I helped get us to this 303 because we needed the extra money to come in to help cover what we needed covered. The end of the month and the beginning of the month are always the roughest for us because that's when we have a large chunk of our bills due. So I'm really proud of myself for going out and doing that. We normally either do it together as a team or he'll go out on his own when I'm doing household stuff. So, yeah, I'm really proud of at how I pushed myself to do that. So the rollover, I planned for $465, but I had money that rolled over to help pay some of the bills. So it ended up, I know that we had $704.65 in the bank that rolled over into this week. And then savings, I planned for 25. We ended up pulling $597.15 out of savings. So the total here is $3,065.61. And then for our bills, Bible Gateway came out of a different account. I don't know where, I don't know how. We have to figure out these subscriptions for next month so that I know that they're coming out of the right accounts. So Bible Gateway did not come out of this budget. Our two visible payments did come out. So that was $70. Our consumers came out at $53. Netflix came out at $22.99. So our car insurance is not $240. As you saw, as I reviewed what we paid, our car insurance total is actually $480.64. So 240 of this came out of this 704 because I had saved in the bank half of what we paid in car insurance from last week. So in total, we paid $480.64. Hulu came out at the planned $14.99. And then the August rent, $300. I did not pay it, but the money is still in the bank. So because it didn't come out of the bank, I'm gonna not count that. So our total for our fixed expenses is $641.62. And I am going to bring the calculator out real quick. And we're gonna subtract our fixed expenses from the total income we brought in. And that gave us a remainder of $2,423.99. And then for our debt payments, our 4 pays, we had budgeted $241.50. We actually paid out $288.95. Sunbit was the $57.05 as planned. Our credit card payment for number 16 was the $30. Our first credit card payment for August came in a little bit higher at $54.23, giving us a total debt payment for the 5th week of $430.23. And we're gonna subtract that $430.23 from the remaining amount here, giving us $1,993.76. For our living expenses, I had only budgeted $100 for gas because that had been where we had been pretty consistent through the month. But gas prices went up and we ended up paying $120.56 for gas. I also had a couple extra trips in here and I dashed in my vehicle. So I have an SUV. I drive an RDX, and so I don't get as good of gas mileage as our TLX, which is a sedan, does. So I paid a little bit more in gas between the extra medical appointments for my kiddos that I had to go to, and then I decided to go out and dash that day. So our groceries, we came in under budget by just a little, but under budget at $143.37. Spending, I opted not to use my spending money this week, so it stayed in the bank to go towards the extra 4Ps and whatnot. So I transferred my boyfriend's spending money over. He's on the road a lot more than I am, so I do that to make sure that he has money in case he needs anything when he's on the road. And then a miscellaneous came in at $27.61, and I did make the $25 payment to Sam's. And then we did do some eating out of $108.42, leaving our living expenses total at $454.96. And we're gonna subtract that $454.96 from the amount that we had left over, leaving us $1538.80. For copay, I did pay $25 copay for one of my appointments this week. We also had a car care payment of $226.78. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna write out these real quick and speed you through it, and then I'll go over the amounts. Okay, so we had the copay of $25, car care. We had to have both oil change and transmission flush on our TLX, and that cost $226.78. Our beauty purchase was $741. We needed some household supplies at $57.71. Medical payments of $71.90. Golf at $74. We had the salt purchase for our water softener at $17, and then my kiddo's haircut for $25, leaving our total for our sinking fund spending at $504.80. And we are going to take $504.80 and subtract it from the leftover from our income, leaving us $1,034. So our sinking funds, I stuffed 140. Our rollover that we are rolling into August is $872.40. Our change, let me move this up a little bit so you can see it a little better. Change to savings was $22.37, and then our savings challenges, so our $1 and $5 savings challenges are getting $11. So we are going to go ahead and I'm going to add this up. And that total is at $1045.79, which, as you can see, is a little bit different than what we have here. So let's see how off budget I was with my numbers here, because like I said, my numbers in the bank and in my cash wallet matched the numbers that were on my expense trackers, which is my, like, it's concrete that as long as those numbers match, I know that I did not go over what was in the bank. I did not do any major overspending. We are not negative. So let's see how far off my numbers are in the budget. And I'm going to do that by putting the total from our different categories in our summaries box, and then the total of our summaries box minus our income that we brought in will let us know how off my numbers are. And maybe I can look that over later and try to figure out where I messed up or where I added not enough or too little in my numbers. So I'm gonna get this written out and get it added up, and then we'll come back and take a look. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we are gonna take the $377.40 and subtract what our income that we brought in was, and we have a difference of $11.79, because this is telling me that I'm negative $11.79, which I know based on my bank and my tracking expenses that I'm not. So with that being said, for the month of July, we made it through. We did not do any major unbudgeted spending. We did have a few, times where we grabbed food out, and we obviously had some purchases that I was unaware of throughout the month, but that we had money set aside for. So I really don't count that as unbudgeted spending. For me, unbudgeted spending is that impulsive spending that we were doing previously that kind of got us in the hole with the different 4 pays that we use. So with that being said, if you stuck with me through this video, you are a rock star. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you give me a thumbs up. That lets me know that you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out and potentially want to see more of it. If you would like to continue following my and my family's journey to better, and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications so that you can get notified when I post. And with that being said, I am going to continue on with my day, and I hope that you all have an amazing rest of yours, and I will see you next time. Bye.